security dossier, securing the perimeter.
Hello and welcome to your channel of choice, Television Nigerian. You're watching Security Dossier, the program that focuses on security issues in and around the country and beyond, as well as efforts of security agencies in the fight against crime and in the defense of the territorial integrity of the nation. I am Lawrence Audu. In this edition of Security Dossier, we shall be looking at the controversy surrounding the constitution of a regional security outfit in the southwest region of the country. I'm talking about the Amotekun security, jointly launched recently. How is it funded, the recruitment process and other issues surrounding the project? This and more after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Security Dossier on Television Nigerian. President Muhammadu Buhari has led Nigerians in honoring the memories of fallen heroes who gave their lives to the protection of the nation's sovereignty. At a solemn ceremony in Abuja, the nation's capital, the president, accompanied by the service chiefs, top government functionaries, and the diplomatic corps, laid wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. I was there for Television Nigerian, and here is a report. 2020 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations have climaxed nationwide, with President Muhammadu Buhari honoring the memories of Nigeria's fallen heroes at the National Arcade, Abuja. This year's celebration is significant because it marks 50 years after the surrender of Biafran troops to the federal troops, which signaled the end of the Nigerian civil war.
We talked about 50 years of cessation of hostility between the Biafra and the Nigerian troops, far back 1967, speaking about the unfortunate Nigerian civil war. And this year's Armed Forces Remembrance celebration is quite unique. Some innovation was brought into it.
High point of the event was the laying of wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier by President Muhammadu Buhari, service chiefs, and the leadership of the National Assembly. In attendance were the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Mohammed, senior military and paramilitary officers, and the diplomatic corps. The 2020 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration has just been concluded in Abuja at the National Arcade, where wreaths were laid by the President Muhammadu Buhari and other top government functionaries with a resolve for better welfare package for troops and families of fallen heroes who have been left behind. As the nation calls for improved welfare for service personnel and their families, these ones continue to march on, a march onto victory. From the National Arcade, Abuja, Lawrence TVN News. Thanks for staying tuned. You are still watching Security Dossier on Television Nigerian. Nigeria and the Arab Republic of Egypt have continued to explore means of strengthening military relations with a call on nations on the Sahel region to synergize with a view to combating emerging threats from extremist groups in the region. The call was made when the Egypt ambassador to Nigeria, Assem Hanafi Al-Seifi, paid a courtesy call on the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, at the Army headquarters in Abuja. The report is presented from our studios. Nations around Africa's Sahel region have been called upon to synergize and build military cooperation in order to defeat the emerging threats of terrorism and extremism in the region. This was a call when the Egypt ambassador to Nigeria, Assem Hanafi El-Seifi, paid a courtesy call on the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, at the Army headquarters in Abuja.
Get to know more about the audience here and to strengthen relations between our countries and especially in the military field, of course, and to extend all the helping assistance that we can do in the spirit of partnership between the two big countries, African countries.
Ambassador El-Seifi said the need for a robust military cooperation and assistance between Nigeria and Egypt has become more critical than ever before. In his remarks, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, noted that Nigeria and Egypt have a long-standing diplomatic and military relations while enjoying reciprocal training as well as educational partnership.
We have for a long time been enjoying reciprocal training as well as educational partnership between Nigeria and Egypt. We have our officers being trained at the Egyptian Defense College and other courses also, both tactical as well as air aviation or air capacity training, which we had done it sometime back in the early 90s. We also have had a lot of military medicine relationship for officers being incorporated. Some of them are there and they receive the best of medical facilities. We really appreciate this standing relations. If we join hands together, we'll be able to deal with the issue of terrorism globally and within our country especially. And of course, we'll be able to synergize to be able to contain the emerging threats to our continent.
General Buratai acknowledged that the two African powers have a lot to learn mutually as nations combating extremist ideologies and terrorism. Egypt, alongside Nigeria, are both members of the Community of Sahel-Saharan States, CENSAD. From the headquarters Nigerian Army, Abuja, Lawrence Aldu, TVN News. Welcome back. We now move to the main issue of the day. That is the controversy surrounding the constitution of a regional security outfit in the southwest region of the country. That is the Amotekun security, which was jointly launched recently by the southwest governors, which has recently continued to gain attractions and reactions from various shades of opinion. With me in the studio today to talk about this is a public affairs analyst and writer, Mr. Silvanus Ukpe. Silvanus, you're welcome to the studio.
Welcome.
Welcome to Security Dossier.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to you.
I wish you the best.
Okay. Now, before you react on the issue of the Amotekun security outfit, I have with me, or earlier on, I had a conversation with Dr. Simeon Olaiwola, all the way from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and he had a reaction. I'll play that for you now.
Yeah, I think that the issue of Amotekun, to me, it's a welcome development because the security of every individual is of paramount importance, and I believe that no sensible person will close his eyes while security is being jeopardized. Because it appears that in most cases the federal government is not really having the grip of security state of the country. Meanwhile, I have a different approach to this issue of Amotekun. And the approach I have to it is that whatever is going to be the activities of the Amotekun, it is supposed to be made known to everybody. Because even when you say you are arranging a security out, me as a person, I don't know how that security outfit is going to work. I don't know how people who will be maintaining security will be recruited. I don't know who will be funding them. Then I need to be suspicious. Because at the end of the day, what we are thinking is going to be for security of people might eventually be against the people. What I'm saying in essence is that I welcome that development, but I want the outfit to be more transparent. Because presently in the South, it's not everybody who knows about it. And when we talk about security in the present day Nigeria, it shouldn't be something that will be shady to them. It should be known to everybody how are they recruited, what is their qualification, and what is their salary, who is funding them, how are they being funded, and all that. All these things are not yet known. But I think for the outfit to be, not to be subject of litigation, this has to be made known to everybody. But these guys are made, to me, Amotekun is a welcome development, and it is supposed to be embraced even by the federal government. Because if a particular region is being properly secured, it is going to be to the advantage of the federal government itself. Yeah, so I don't think anybody should feel the outfit is coming to antagonize another region. No.
But already a middle belt group is already pushing to have their own kind of security services, and the Southeast too are already agitating, and already you know that we have a standing issue on ground in the Southeast as regards the activities of the indigenous people of Biafra IFOR. Don't you think it's going to be chaotic at the end of the day?
No. So I don't think it's going to be chaotic. Like I told you, the only security guys now is how are they recruited, who is recruiting them, who is funding them, what is their what is their salary and all that. Those are something that are supposed to be made known to everyone. Apart from that, it's not going to be chaotic because when you look around the country now, you find that almost every region is having security challenges. And now if the region is forming out with those security challenges and others apply to come, I think everybody is just trying to make sure that your country is properly secure. To me, it's a welcome development. In the Southwest now, presently, I read some few things that the UAPLR people are saying. I know that clearly all those pronouncements are really not representing the interest of the UAPLR. So I don't want to just jump to conclusion. But what I've discovered is that a lot of things go on in the social media where people pass judgments carelessly based on their own ignorance of the law and ignorance of what is really going on. But I do not think that security outfit can create any chaos because presently we are having problems as far as security is concerned. And for us to remove these security challenges, we need to come up with some outfit. And Amotekun to me is one of it. And if the other regions are coming up with their own, to me it's a welcome development.
But the issue is a lot of people think or still feel that the Amotekun program is the operators are basically members of the Odua People's Congress that even can call Yoruba nationals skeptical about.
No, The Amotekun is not about OPC. It's not about Odua People's Congress. The Odua People's Congress is existing. Now you have different vigilante groups also existing in the Southwest. But this Amotekun is about the 6 states of the Southwest. They are coming up to have a kind of security outfit which will be clearly defined, made known to the government, which of course presently it has not been too clear. And I believe that by state they are going to get there. So it is not going to create any chaos, and it's not about OPC. Even if some OPC members have been talking here and there, well, probably they are saying that there are need for them to come up and say yes, they are existing. But it is different from OPC. It's not OPC at all. So it's an outfit.
Now, that was Associate Professor Simeon Olaiwola on the line there. Mr. Silvanus, you heard him. You've also seen the heat and the traction the issue of Amotekun has been generating nationwide. How do you react to this?
Well, I think the Southwest, they have taken us back to the days of regional police. In 1948, precisely, during the pre-independence eras, we used to have regional police, and Western region was championing that. It was incorporated in the 1963 Constitution, but unfortunately, in the 1979 Constitution, which later metamorphosed into the 1999 Constitution, abrogated regional police. In Section 214 of the 1999 Constitution, police can only be owned, established, and can only be functional as a creation of the federal government. And that section forbids any state or region from creating a police. So the issue now is Amotekun a police? Does it contravene Section 214 sub 1 of the 1999 Constitution? Well, if you want to determine that, I think you have to go back to what are the functions of the police? Maintaining law and order, peace, preventing crime, and that is the same thing that the Amotekun was created to combat. I think that was why the Attorney General of Police rightly said that the Amotekun was an unconstitutional body.
Okay, but with the constitution of the Amotekun security outfit, the indigenous people of Biafra, even before I get there, the Middle Belt people are already asking for a similar thing. Don't forget that at the moment, Nigeria is saddled with a lot of security challenges in all the in all the regions, and it looks like the federal government is not able to contain these issues, the issue of insecurity. I mean, we have to be very plain. You read the news, you watch the news, you see things that happen every day. Yes. The Middle Belt is already asking for a similar arrangement. How do you react? Well,
the primary purpose of every government is security of lives and properties of its citizens. Then, this is we practice a federal system of government. And in every advanced country practicing federalism, police, there are always state police. When we talk about security, we talk of the locals, people knowing the terrain. We have continued to clamor for a state police because what we have now is not enough to combat crimes and the kind of issues. They maintain lives maintain law and order, prevent crime and all these things. The federal police we have currently, this has overwhelmed them. They are not enough, the personnel, they are not enough to combat this. But what the Southwest ought to have done was to send a bill to the National Assembly or empower the legislators from the Southwest to ensure that that section of the Constitution is amended to incorporate regional police. Because don't forget, this might escalate to chaos and anarchy. Why do I say that? What is the constitutional framework of this Amotekun? What is the command structure? Who disciplines the members? Who funds them? How will they be paid? Is there any commission that is saddled with these onerous responsibilities? How do they get to function? If one is found wanting, how do they combat it? In a place where an Amotekun man and the police officer is standing, who gets superior power? who gets to make arrests. So these are I think the security outfit was hasty. They didn't give it a thorough consideration.
Now, if you look at this
formation.
in the northern part of the country where you practice, where Sharia is active, even though some people want to say, okay, the kind of Sharia that was declared is a political Sharia, but be that as be, you have Hizbah in some of the northern states, like in Kano, in Sokoto, in Jigawa, and some of these other places, including Zamfara. Do you think the issue of Amotekun and Hizbah, are they not the same one and the same kind of thing in different colorations?
Yes, they are the same thing. But
why is it that nobody's talking about Hizbah and everyone is facing Amotekun?
You know that the constitution of Nigeria, we have southern and northern. The constitutional, the criminal procedure law for the north and the criminal procedure act for the south. The constitution recognizes Sharia law being practiced in the north and gives backing to any form of security outfit that enforces it. But don't forget that Hizbah is just to enforce that religious law. Amotekun is just like the police. They carry out all the functions that the police is supposedly imbued with in the constitution. And this is where there is a clash of interest between the Amotekun and the police. And the fears of these persons who have reservations about the creation of Amotekun is who controls it? How are we sure it doesn't escalate to a body that dances to the whims and caprices of a few leaders? You understand? So we have to be certain of the functions of the command structure of and what commission is saddled with disciplining a member that is found wanting. That organization is a haphazard one. What type of training do they have? Are they trained? How are we sure their activities will be done with total regard to the fundamental human rights of the citizens? That is why a group like Miyetti Allah cried out, because they felt the organization was created solely to combat or to attack them. And these fears will always go on to precipitate into major crisis if it is not checked immediately. But
Miyetti Allah, aside from saying that, challenging the constitution of the Amotekun group, also said that it will cost the Southwest the support, for becoming, of clenching the presidency in 2023. Is this a kind of joke? Or is something, and from another angle, Miyetti Allah is saying, look, if you want to, if you want to recruit members, we are capable. We have capable hands. Is it that a group is speaking from two sides of the mouth, or something else?
The issue is they feel excluded, and Nigeria, when issue of tribalism coming, there is always disagreement. They feel that if this thing is meant for the good of everybody should be incorporated into it. And don't forget that there is always these fears of the minority in anywhere in the country. And for these fears to be allayed, you must incorporate them into the activities, give them the sense of belonging. But in the case of threatening the Southwest to surrender or to back down on Amotekun, if they really want to clinch presidency in 2023, I don't think any group in Nigeria have that sole right to determine who becomes the president. That is the fundamental right, the political right of every Nigerian living in the country. What they will do is not vote any Southwesterner who aspires to contest for the position, but they don't have the right to stop Southwest from contesting the position because of this constitution of Amotekun.
Again, the constitution of Amotekun, according to some other reports, Nnamdi Kanu has said he's going to volunteer about 1 million foot soldiers or 1 million personnel to support the group. In another development or in another area, you're hearing issues like, yes, the Yorubas have been able to come together and form this. The Igbos too should form like a Biafran security outfit. And it all looks like the regions are ganging up against another region.
And this threatens the very foundations of this country. This is a threat to national security and the unity of this country. I do not support the proliferation of Nigerian security services. This must be done in an organized and constitutional manner. Just like I said, we do not know the trainings these Amotekun personnel pass.
They probably went to a shrine, swore to something, and then picked up cutlasses.
What are they? Is this a modern security outfit? It's just like a joke, because security is a pertinent structure in every human existence, and for it to perform better, it must have a modern training, which this Amotekun seems to be lacking. And if other regions are allowed to come up with their own security outfits, how does the federal government contend with this? You will hear one day that they have there is an uprising against the federal government, and they will be overthrown. No government will sleep on its ass while security is being proliferated in the country.
Already, the federal government is already looking for ways to solve the impasse, and we understand that the vice president is going to be chairing a committee that will look into the issue of this Amotekun and then how it is being resolved or be watered down. Do you think the federal government is right in its own way, or do you think the reaction of the federal government is okay, or they should have just kept quiet and allowed the whole thing to go?
I think the federal government has shown enough understanding and tolerance for it to have come out in a constitutional manner, not to antagonize the process, but set up a dialogue committee to meet with them. It's a political solution. And in cases like this, that involves borders, involves a country with a particular section and component unit of it, I think dialogue is the best way. And the federal government's reaction is proportionate to the constitution of Amotekun. They are in order. But the only thing is that everything should be done constitutionally. The only person who wanted to cause rifts between the federal government and the Southwesterners was the Attorney General of the Federation, coming out to Suomotu on his own, declare the constitution of Amotekun illegal, is unfounded. The Attorney General of the Federation acted extra vires, as unconstitutional in declaring such, because it doesn't have the constitutional powers. Though we know that it is only a court of law that can declare such thing illegal, and the Attorney General of Nigeria is not a court of law.
Okay, so does this mean that from your own position now, you have said, look, it is okay to have security services to police the regions if it is done constitutionally?
And the federal government should be fully involved. The Inspector General of Police should be fully involved. We have vigilante groups, and the federal government has not antagonized this, because this is a local security machinery. But when a region comes together, all the governors of the region, to form a security outfit, it is a threat to national unity. Because if not rightly checked, this might precipitate to crisis, and the region is already equipped. You know, this is a country that there is mutual suspicion.
And arms and ammunition.
Yes, have been given to them.
How did they import this arms?
That is it. What is the training they have? How do they shoot? The Constitution made it clear in the Criminal Procedure Act there are certain instances you can shoot. Police personnel are being trained to this effect. But these Amotekun people, do they know when to shoot and when not to shoot? The security of lives and citizens of every Nigerian living in Southwest is at risk. And the federal government, by virtue of Section 17, Sub 2, Paragraph B, is imbued with the constitutional powers to protect the lives and citizens of the lives and properties of every citizen of this country. And that's what they are doing. They are alive to their responsibilities. And I think the Southwesterners, I know there are many of them are APC governors and all this. They should go within the party. They should go home as a family and resolve this issue amicably before it escalates.
So what's your position on state police? Now let's leave the regional arrangements now. What do you think about state police? Is it a viable means of curbing insecurity in the country? Do you think it has its own pros and cons? What do you think?
State police has always been the best tool in a federal system of government to combating crime. Because for security to be effective, the personnel must acclimatize with the surroundings, with the locality. They must know everywhere. Like in the Niger Delta, if you are chasing a militant and he jumps into the river, you are not from there. How do you pursue him? Some persons from the north or from Benue, they might not know how to swim. So it means you automatically turn back. But if you are using the locals to chase them, they will be able to jump into the river and follow suit. But then our fears has always been the political skirmishes that's always introduced in our country. If state police is guaranteed, which is the basic thing in every constitutional democracy where federal system of government is the yardstick. So how are we sure that these governors will not exploit them? You understand? During elections, they cannot, because even the constitution makes it clear, even in section 215, subsection 4 of the 1999 constitution, that the governor of a state can give directives to the police, subject to the provisions of the constitution and subject to the agreement of a minister or the presidency. So the governor has a role to play as a chief security officer, but when he is allowed to solely control the Nigerian state police, how does he wield this power? Power intoxicates. Okay, look at the local government elections that are being conducted by governors. How good are they? We only have it's only the ones conducted by INEC that are even 60% effective. You see PDP in a PDP state winning the whole local government and the whole councillorship position. These are no elections. Chairmen of these commissions are political party members. So the states have not shown the capacity to run an unbiased security outfit in Nigeria. And that is the fears of the federal government.
So in other words, what is your position going forward?
My position is that we have not reached that political maturity to have state police, because they might be exploited by the government.
But we have not gotten to that maturity yet. Everybody clamors, and then you have issues of insecurity. People from another region coming to attack and launch an attack and get away with it. How do you resolve this?
Let more personnel be recruited into the Nigerian police. That is what we need. Go to UK, you see a number of police officers for a town. They are viable, is effective, but even the ones we have are corrupt. You see the police standing by when somebody is being robbed. So we have a lot of discipline to do within the Nigerian police, and a lot of personnel needs to be recruited so that security situation in the country will be curbed. This insecurity is becoming something else, and only increased security personnel and the reorientation of the existing security force will go a long way to solving this situation.
Well, Mr. Silvanus Okwe, I must thank you so very much for coming on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, this is the much we can take on Security Dossier today. Until we come your way again with another exciting edition, I am Lawrence Audu. Bye for now.
Security Dossier, securing the perimeter.